Hola a todos, mi nombre es Jennifer Firpo, fundadora y CEO de Vision Advertising, y les damos la bienvenida a su nuevo episodio de La Plática Podcast. Y hoy les traemos una invitada muy especial a la cual voy a introducir en unos minutos, pero ahora vamos a darle paso a nuestros patrocinadores.
Gracias a nuestros patrocinadores, Liga de Justicia, en caso de lesiones laborales, accidentes de bicicleta, resbalón y caída, por favor llame al 1-800-355-1234. Liga de Justicia, tus abogados.
Hi again, this is going to be an episode in English for convenience for my new guest on today's podcast in La Plática. And we're going to speak about different services and different information that is going to be amazing for you guys when it comes to your businesses, especially for small businesses owners. And as you know, my name is Jennifer Firpo, founder and CEO of Vision Advertising. Today, Louis is actually on vacation, so it's his turn. And he's not going to join us today, but we have an amazing guest. Her name is Nitza Franco, and I'm going to let you speak up and just introduce yourself, and let's take it from there.
Yeah, so again, my name is Nitza Franco. I am a Long Island resident, owned and raised here. I have a business consulting firm that I just created back in 22 or 23. But all of it has been derived by everything I've done throughout the years. I've been part of the community for about 15 years in different aspects from like, I don't know, really anything, Brentwood, because that's really where I'm from. But I also am, day job, a risk advisor at Capital One Bank as a risk advisor for the contact center retail bank. So broad. I also have a women's organization where we raise funds for women and children with cancer. We do a couple of events throughout the year, and then we always have like about 2 or 3 honorees a year. I am a mother. My son will be 17 on Saturday, wow. So that's a big deal. He's driving. Hopefully soon he'll have his full permit. Well, full license, not permit. So yeah, a lot going on, definitely.
As you guys can see, Nitza is a woman of many, many, many hats. But I want to focus today's conversation into what do you do for the community? Because I know that you have been recognized in so many ways. So please tell our audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, so back about a little bit over 15 years ago, I joined a Chamber of Commerce. I used to be a personal banker, so I needed business accounts. But that was the best resource to get in front of businesses. So what I did was I joined at the time, it was Salvadorian American Chamber of New York. And we actually redid the whole structure, and now we have the Salvadorian American Chamber of Commerce, which again, I was one of the founders. Recently left, but that doesn't mean I'm not working with them. They actually hired my consulting company to help with the future events. So every year, there's 2 big festivals that we organize. In August, we have Pupusa Festival. That brings about 5,000 people to the event. And then our September event, which is the Central American Independence Day Parade and Festival, that brings about 15,000 people to the event. So I organize majority of that work. So now I'll be doing that through my consulting firm.
I mean, that's amazing. The work that you're doing is actually really well deserved, and especially for those people in need. And please keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah.
But one of the things that you mentioned about your consulting firm, why don't you tell us the name of your consulting firm and what do you do exactly in there?
Yeah, so the name of it is NJF Consulting Group. Again, I focus a lot on the business development. So especially those maybe not new businesses, but are interested in becoming a business owner. We do help with like helping you figure out the structure of your business, if you need help filing paperwork. Simple as like an operating agreement, which they seem simple to the most of us that do this day in, day out, but for the normal person out there that doesn't know anything but the business that they're involved in, they're not going to know. So I do focus on like that development piece, making sure that everyone meets compliance. You have all the paperwork you're going to need for anything in the future. You never know when you need to apply for a loan and you need all these documentations. One of the other pieces that I do help through NJF is I help businesses certify through MWBE. So especially through like New York State, New York City, Port Authority. The applications seem a bit intense when you look at the requirements, but when you break it down, it's really not that bad. So for me, it's just spoon feeding folks and just saying, okay, these are the documents we're going to need. Let's work on these first. We'll work on these together. We'll submit your application and try to make it as smooth as possible.
Well, let me tell you, for all our viewers in the Tu Plática podcast and all the audiences out there, this is actually really important, because especially when you are like, have an idea, you want to bring in a new business, but you have no clue how to start, not even how to fill out, how to make it legit, or do I need to go through government? What kind of applications do I need to do? And do not even get me started when it comes to MWBE certifications. It's like a different kind of language, don't you think?
It is. It's a little overwhelming, but this is why folks like myself and my team are here to support, whoever needs the support in that space.
And that's amazing, because that's actually one of the biggest supports that everyone needs, especially when it's like a brand new company and they have no clue where to go. And the other things, like sometimes you have an idea, but they don't know that there are regulations that they need to follow and forms that they need to fill out so they can continue doing. So the work that you're doing is actually really helpful. Now, usually what we like to focus in here is when it comes to MWBEs. So I'm guessing that you have all the certifications when it comes to MWBE.
I do. So NJF currently today is certified with Suffolk, Nassau, New York State, New York City, Port Authority, and I've literally just submitted the SBE. So very well-rounded in certifications, thankfully.
No, that's good. But guide me a little bit. How was your process? Because let me tell you, everyone has a different story when it comes to the certifications.
It is. And I've seen a lot because I do the consulting for other businesses. So I feel like I've seen not all, but a lot of it. I've had I go from construction companies to transportation to other consulting firms. And for me, mine felt smoother, but again, I do this day in, day out. So for me, it felt smoother. But I have clients that one of the construction companies, for example, it took him, I think, almost a year just to get me documentation. But it's not because he didn't want to. It's just they're so busy doing their work, what they specialize in, that they don't really take the time to say, oh, let me go find the 3 years of taxes. Let me go look for, my passport or my operating agreement, things like that.
Well, let me tell you, I usually like to educate my audience when it comes to marketing, advertising, and different other things. But come on, you need to educate everyone. It's like, if you're going to do this, you need to make the time, first of all.
Absolutely. And that's what I tell folks. It's not, I can go around and let's get you set up with New York State profile, but there's time limits. From when you set up that profile and you say, yeah, I want to apply, you have 90 days to submit that. And if you get denied for not even submitting documentation, you can be impacted by not reapplying, and they can put a limit of 2 to 3 years. So when I sit down with people, I want them to understand, you tell me when you're ready, because you can give me all the paperwork, but if I'm missing one document and I can't get that in, you still have that risk of not applying.
Absolutely. And again, it's you have to put in the effort. As much as you want to help them, they have to help themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, when it comes to it, there's always, I want people to know the benefits of having the certifications when it comes to the MWBE, or, well, not necessarily MWBE, but also the MBE,
diversities,
depending on which ones you need. However, every single time that we have someone here that we speak ourselves, we give them different kind of benefits. But I like them to hear from other people, not just from me.
Yeah, absolutely. So what allows you, the benefit of having the certifications, regardless if it's NW or even veteran, which is the V, is you have a heads up on government contracts. So for example, the JFK project, if you're a landscaper and they need landscaping for their project, they want to hire those MW or the diversified businesses, only because they get a percentage of that larger project. So normally you get, let's say, $1 million project, 30% of that should be MWs or Vs. And that's the one-up that we all get for having the certifications, is that we're going to be number one for them to look for different resources that they don't normally go to. So I think it's great because, especially here on Long Island, we have lots of contract companies that are purposely looking for local small businesses to do work with. So
yeah,
I think that's great.
And another thing is there's a taboo that it comes to MWBEs or BEs or MBEs that is usually most likely for construction company. How will you respond to that?
No, not at all. Right now, I am I'm working with like the Sands project, which will eventually be out there. And they're looking for everything. Our list right now with that project, we have plumbers, we have glass companies, we have welders. There's even, especially in New York City right now, they're really focusing on the arts and performing arts and marketing and design. So that's a piece that people don't really think, like photographers, videography. Those are critical. These companies need to document the progress of a project. So that's easily a nice service to have.
And no, that's amazing. But again, it's really helpful for everyone to hear from different perspectives and different opinions of everyone in here, especially like you are in a similar field than me. I know that you do consulting, which we're going to speak about that a little bit in 1 second. But again, it's like I feel government buy everything and people do not know about it. So that's why it's always good to educate yourselves and kind of do your research or trust someone like Nitza that she has expertise. She's been doing it for years, so why not, right? So let me speak about your business itself. I know that you help with the certifications for MWBs, but about consulting. What other services besides, implementing a new business do you have that can help like an established business, for example?
Yeah, so under NJF, I also do a little piece of like the marketing consultant. So any social media, website, rebranding, we have a team that specializes in that type of work. And then I also have like the whole project management, event planning field under the consulting as well. Due to the experience that I've had with the festivals and the parades, I kind of already know like, oh, these are the contracts we need, these are the permits, and this is how we can establish the event. I'm actually a PMO. I was a project manager in the bank, so I do have the project management skills, and that easily putting a plan in place and executing is kind of my go-to. So.
Now, I'm curious, I get it that you have a whole background of giving back to the community, working with chambers, and obviously your day job and now your consulting firm. But how from all of it got linked for you to be an entrepreneur?
Oh my God. I don't know. I think it's people finally telling me and opening my eyes to do something with it instead of being Mother Teresa and doing it all for free. Especially Luis. I know he's not here today, but he's definitely one of those that was like, you need to do something about it. Stop doing it for free. And yeah,
that sounds like Luis.
I figured, I was like, you know what? You're right. Let me explore. You get nervous trying new things, but you have to step out of that comfort zone and do things that are better for yourself. So I think for me, another point was I was doing so much for the festivals that it took me almost 1 year. It took me, I think, about 4 days to recover body-wise, wow. Just the amount of work that we did. So yeah, after things like that, you start thinking, okay, well, my health, I'm not doing this for free. So.
And one thing that I always like to focus when it comes to entrepreneurship is it's not all roses and pink out there. I'm pretty sure that you have found your obstacles, but how do you feel after making the decision? Is something that you regret or is something that just oh no, this is it?
No, I definitely don't regret it because, yes, even though I do have my day job with Capital One, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be there forever. So, if there's a point where maybe NJF is getting too busy, I might actually leave Capital One and I'd rather work for myself because then I know who my team is and who I want to work with. And I can easily say no if I don't want to do a job and move it to someone else.
Yeah, the flexibility, amazing. So, okay, perfect. So one thing that we usually tell our audience is how they can communicate with you. So in case that they wanted to work with you.
Yeah, so I have my phone. It's always available. My phone number is 631-969-6247. I'm on Facebook, Instagram as Nitza Franco. Really haven't pushed out NJFs too much on the marketing, even though I should. Just been a little busy. But it's coming. Definitely going out there and pushing NJF a lot more. And yeah, I'm always around. My email's kind of long, though. It's
just right.
Okay. Well, my email's my full name. It's Nitza, Nitza.j.franco, Franco, @gmail.com. And again, my phone number, I'll just repeat it, 631-969-6247.
Well, now that you have the information, you can contact Nitza to do any kind of consultation. But before you do, is it important for them to have something, or do they need any kind of prior documentation to bring into your consultation so they can be ready?
It's all going to be based on the type of consultation we have. So like if you're a new business, you're not structured, we're really just going to have a conversation. But if you're looking for type of certifications or permits or things like that that require a little more, then yes, a business structure, like your whole business docs, those would be helpful just so then I know what we're working with.
Well, thank you so much, Nitza. And there you have it. Just contact Nitza either for MWBE certifications or just for a consultant because you had an idea to get a new business. That's what she's here for. And thank you again for tuning in to Plática Podcast. And we'll see you next time.